You're watching Checkered Flag on C7 Sport. The big one now approaches the Formula A finale. Let's look at the pre-final results. First of all, it was Michael Caruso, the victor, Adam Graham second, then Neil McFadden and Joshua Pontello, followed by Wesley May, Richard McLeod, Chris Cox, Clinton Dive, Clint Cathcart and Bradley Brown rounding out the top 10. And by virtue of where they finished in the pre-final, they now line up in identical positions on the starting grid. A rolling start in the Pataris Formula A finale. This will be an absolute beauty with Adam Graham and Caruso starting up front. Now this is the elite class in karting in this country. They're very, very quick. And Alan Gurr, it's no place for the faint-hearted as always as they approach the end of the first racing lap shortly.
Not at all. Everyone's out there to do the same thing, and that's win. And from the word go, they're all out to do it.
It's Michael Caruso, your race leader, New South Welshman, aboard the Tony Kart entry on Bridgestone rubber. In a real battle right throughout the weekend. Another driver not to lose sight of in this particular race is Neil McFadden, who did finish third in the pre-final, racing under the Skilled Your Flexible Workforce banner. This kid can really drive. He's super consistent.
Yeah, McFadden, I don't think he's had a mechanical failure in ages. He's just run around, he's stayed out of trouble, he never puts a wheel wrong, and that shows in his championship results.
Every class he goes into, he just appears to be able to dominate. There's a problem now. Richard McLeod, the Queenslander, who was driving the Azuru, now he's driving it nowhere. It's in the kitty litter.
That's unfortunate for Richie, because he's been running up in front all weekend and it was a really good round for him, so it's a pity to see him on the side of the track. It's
Caruso, the leader. Here's McFadden now in 59. This kid, well, like everybody else in this race, a fine driver. 66 not far away either. Adam Graham, the Queenslander. McFadden is the New South Welshman, as is Caruso. So it's real state of origin karting here at Sydney's Eastern Creek International Karting Raceway in round 3 of the APS Kart Racing Series for 2000. And you're watching the Pataris Press Formula A class.
The front runners there, nose to tail, and they're probably all pushing each other up that hill. And it looks like it's going to be a terrific race from start to finish.
Absolute nose to tail stuff. Looks like a high-speed freight train of karts through the right-hander now. The karts just drifting up across the top of the circuit. And they're ducking and diving in the most comprehensive fashion possible to try and get some form of superiority, some advantage. Not going to be easy, as you can see.
You can see Wesley May there trying to tack onto the front three there. He's doing a pretty good job. And Josh Pontello there in 5th place. He's been overseas and come back to Australia, and he's running well up the front.
I've mentioned this is the premier class of 100cc kart racing. 100cc rotary valve engines developing over 30 horsepower at anything up to an incredible 22,000 RPM. What about that for some statistics? Open compound tyres and minimum racing weight, including the driver, of 140 kilograms.
Yeah, these machines are very fast in acceleration, and on such a short circuit, it's a real buzz to drive. They're very similar to the Interrays, but one's reed valve and these are rotary valve that give slightly different characteristics, but still just as fun to drive.
Would you say they give a lot more explosive power?
They're a bit more responsive on the throttle, but the reeds seem to have a bit more bottom end, whereas the rotaries have a lot more mid-range, halfway down the straight.
So Caruso's still the leader here, but I wonder for how much longer.
Yeah, McFadden's putting a lot of pressure on him, but Caruso's withstanding that, and Adam's still sitting there just waiting for something to happen. But it's also interesting to note that Michael Caruso, he's running a Tony Kart chassis, as is Adam Graham, but there's about 3 to 4 years difference between the two makes. Michael's running the new version, and Adam's running the old homologation chassis, and it's good to see that they're both still running at a consistent pace.
Yeah, it says a lot for the old chassis, doesn't it?
It certainly does. I don't know whether Caruso hasn't quite sorted the new one out, or Adam's just, I don't know, he's just, that suits him or not, but he's doing a great job to stay with him.
Nothing between the three drivers here is almost a carbon copy of the type of race we had in the Intercontinental A that you saw on the second segment of today's program. Michael Caruso, New South Welshman, out in front. Then it's McFadden, also from New South Wales, and the Queenslander Adam Graham Graham did start this race on the front row of the grid with Michael Caruso. McFadden started third, so once again, the form has been fairly honest right throughout the weekend.
All through the heats, you see these front three just battling it out. And Caruso looked to me as if he had the advantage over the other two, but you see McFadden there have a look underneath and couldn't quite pull it off.
Battle continues at Eastern Creek International Karting Raceway in the Pataras Press Formula A finale, round 3 of this national series. And we can see there that Caruso has just started to skip away a fraction. Not far, mind you.
I don't think McFadden will let him get too far away. McFadden's really consistent and never drops off the pace. If he's fast at the start, he'll be fast at the end. And you see Adam Graham here trying to line up McFadden for a move, but McFadden's a bit too good under brakes for him.
Tyres were squealing their heads off there too.
Yeah, they're really pushing it. Wouldn't want to be doing it too early in the race, trying to overheat them, but I'm sure these guys definitely know what they're doing.
A couple of others also starting to come up and tack on to this battle. We might have different players shortly, with as many as 5 drivers involved in this monumental scrap.
Yeah, if the 4th and 5th, which is Joshua Pontello and Wesley May, catch these front 3, it'll make for a really interesting race. And I'm sure no one will want to give in and everyone will want to win.
Pontello and May, another pair of New South Welshmen. So at this point in time, Adam Graham is the lone Queenslander surrounded by New South Wales drivers. You would expect them to fare well at their home track, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would. It's hard for to get onto this circuit because of the 4-strokes that Eastern Creek Karts also run in the same complex. So they vary the tracks a lot. So it's hard for the home local boys to get a lot of testing done, but still they should have a slight advantage over the others.
McFadden, very much the meat in the sandwich here. That's him running second in 59 under the skilled banner. His first season in Formula 8. He was a former junior Intercontinental A driver, won that championship, stepped up to the next level, won that, and here he is right at the sharp end of the Formula A class in his first season driving in this category.
I've raced Michael Caruso and Neil McFadden, and both very good drivers and really good to race with. Very different in the way they approach things. Michael's very aggressive and Neil tends to sit back a lot and just let his speed do the work, where Michael really relies on his racing. Even though they're both very fast, they both approach racing totally differently.
You're listening to expert comments from Alan Gurr, former champion kart racer turned super touring star, campaigning a Ford Mondeo in the National Super Touring Championship in 2000. Currently lies second in that championship behind series leader Paul Morris, and well done on that too, Alan.
Thank you. You can see Graham there, he's just sitting there, he drops back and catches up. I don't know whether he's struggling to stay with him or whether he's just playing games or what he's doing, but he can't afford to let the front two get away too much because it's really hard to peg back in these cars.
Just getting back to your Super Touring car exploits as we watch the exploits of this trio. Wonderful battle. What was the single biggest difference going from karts to Super Touring cars?
Well, gee, you've got the gears to deal with for one, because these are just direct drive and you set what gear you want before the race, and they're just totally different in the G-forces that they put out. The karts are a lot more direct in what they do, and the track obviously is smaller, which makes it a lot faster. It feels a lot faster even though it isn't, and you really got to be on the ball.
So you've come up with 6 or 7 things there, which is fair enough too. Caruso, lead up, McFadden in the centre, then Adam Graham. Don't want to sound like a broken record. It's been these 3 out to play ever since we saw the green flag in this race. Who will it be? Bit over half race distance now in this Pataras Press Formula A finale. It is an absolute cliffhanger. McFadden up on the inside having a look at the race lead. Caruso said, not on your life.
You can see McFadden there got a bit better run out of that turn than Michael did, but Michael just managed to stay in front of him, and see Adam there try and dive underneath McFadden. It looks like he's pulled it off.
Yep, so Graham moves up a spot. McFadden will probably regret that attempted shot at the lead now, but mind you, he's still close enough. I wonder if McFadden was slowing Graham down any, the Queenslander, in 66, because he really looks like a man on a mission at the moment.
Yeah, he looks like he's really pushing that cart, and he's having a look at Caruso there. He can't quite make it, but he's really strong under brakes.
Hard to imagine McFadden would be slowing anybody down, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you're being slowed down by McFadden, you're definitely on the pace.
Caruso, Graham, McFadden. This is where all the action is. I wonder if there are any other players that can get involved in this scrap. A couple of drivers, I think May is one of them, is he not? And Pontello, not that far away, but they're going to need Nitro on board to catch up with the leading three. They're just going that quickly. Oh, driver up on 2 wheels there. It was Adam Graham, and he may have an appointment with his dry cleaner first thing tomorrow morning.
Yeah, you see Adam Graham's cart's getting a lot more attitude out of it than Caruso and McFadden's. I don't know whether that's because he's pushing it harder or that's the way he likes the cart set up, but it seems to be working whatever he's doing.
Caruso, race leader, sponsored by Revolution, Tony Kart, Vortex and Elf. And he's certainly doing his sponsors proud at the moment. Won the pre-final, started this event on pole position and leads at about 3/4 race distance.
Yeah, Caruso's a really hard charger. If he gets a sniff of a win, he'll be after it. But I'm sure that McFadden and Adam are just as hungry for that win, and McFadden's got the championship to worry about and try and keep Caruso back in second.
What would you anticipate the average lap speed would be here?
Or around this circuit, I don't know, you'd have to be looking at in the high 40-second brackets, I'd imagine. It's a bit different to last year, so I can't really make an accurate comment, but I'm sure it'd be around the 40s.
Average speed of carts?
They'd be getting up over 100 k's for sure. The average speed around this circuit's pretty fast flowing, so it'd be one of the highest speed circuits.
These drivers don't have seat belts. They're tucked in. The seats on these carts really hug your rib cage, which is part of the reason your rib cage hurts so much after a 30-lap race.
Yeah, these drivers are really fit. During the week they're doing training. If they're not at school or work, they're out there in the gym or running around the block, and it really shows at the end of the race who's fit and who's not, because the lap times stay the same or they'll drop off.
Great race. I mean, you wouldn't see a better race than this in any form of motorsport. They are nose to tail, just giving it to each other. Exchanging paint. Whoa, what about that? Caruso has careered off the circuit. Wasn't touched, he did it all on his own.
Looks to me like Caruso may have an engine failure. He's got his hand there over the airbox, which indicates that the engine may have had a slight grab in it, and that can cause the rear wheels to lock, and you can't do much about that, and he'd be out of the race.
So now there are two. Leader is Adam Graham, the Queenslander, in 66 is Neil McFadden. Carrying the hopes of New South Wales on his shoulders, he runs second.
Must be a big relief for Neil McFadden to see his closest rival in the championship off the circuit. He'll come around this time, and I'm sure there'll be a sigh of relief there, but he's still got Adam Graham to deal with.
Major disappointment for Caruso. Wasn't he driving a wonderful race? This was his. Bearing in mind, he did win the pre-final too, so it's the weekend that got away for him, isn't it?
Yeah, Caruso was really out to win this one. He was really determined and to really get those points back on McFadden. He had to win this, and I'm sure he'll be devastated, as would anyone, but he's a really emotional and aggressive driver, and if he wants to do something, he'll go out to do it.
Gee, congratulations to the camera boys too, pardon me, at Eastern Creek International Karting Raceway. We're getting some terrific shots, particularly the close-ups of these drivers at work in the office. You almost feel you're out there with them. McFadden in 59, he runs second. He's stalking his prey, and his prey is Adam Graham, the race leader, in 66. Only about 3.5 minutes remaining in this race now. About the 6-lap mark, I guess, remaining in the event. There's one of those shots I was talking about. So fast as they negotiate this circuit.
You can see how close McFadden's getting to the cart in front. He's not going to let him get away. He's trying to tuck him behind him and get that slipstream down the straight.
Oh, McFadden, he was going to have a look there, and he does have a look on 2 wheels. The boy's dancing his way around the circuit.
And McFadden had a good look here. You see Graham just slightly wide on the exit, and McFadden couldn't quite get it in there.
That's why they wear the darker part at the bottom of their two-tone suits, scaring themselves like that. Graham and McFadden going for it. You think there was a national championship round up for grabs here?
Well, yeah, you'd think so anyway. I mean, being the third round of the series, it's a make or break round, and if you don't do well...
McFadden! Sorry to interrupt you, Alan Gurr. Had a big go, but to his credit, Graham responded with another bold charge.
Yeah, Graham's really defending his line here. He's not blocking or anything. He's just really throwing it into those corners, making sure McFadden doesn't dive underneath him.
Great race at Eastern Creek. Graham in 66. Trust you're enjoying the action exclusively on C7 Sport, a checkered flag program bringing you all the action of the APS Kart Racing Series in 2000. In fact, we've done it for the last 3 years in succession, and we're proud of it. These kids deserve the television airtime. Have a look at the show they're putting on. McFadden racing with Adam Graham. There is nothing between this duo.
Now these two front runners both won the national championships in their class last year. Adam Graham won the junior inter-A, and Neil McFadden won the senior inter-A. So be interesting to see who comes out better in this one.
Gee, they've got to be tired. Their elbows have been flashing for a long time now. Graham puts the right hand down on the engine. Now McFadden, he's trying to figure it out. Will I go the inside or the outside? I don't think you can really plan too much in this sort of racing at a track like this. He just needs the leader to make a mistake, and then he'll go for it.
There'll only be a few laps left to run in this. You can really tell because Adam Graham's there really pushing the kart, sliding all around the circuit. McFadden looks like he's doing a little more comfortable, but still that doesn't matter if you're sitting in second position. The
Tony Kart driver Graham is wanting to see that checkered flag more than he's ever wanted anything. When you're leading a close race and there's only a handful of laps to go, and there's less than that in this case, it does seem to be the longest racing lap of your life, doesn't it? Especially the last one.
Yeah, doesn't matter whether you're in first or second. If you're in first, you want the lap to go as fast as possible, but it always seems to go the longest, and vice versa if you're in second.
Both drivers on Bridgestone tyres at the pointy end of this pack. There's the mistake that McFadden was waiting for. Nope. Graham was able to slam the door shut in his face again.
Yeah, you can see Adam's really strong under brakes. I don't know whether McFadden's just sitting there waiting for that last lap, but I don't know whether he's going to be able to outbrake him or not.
Tell you what, they'll both sleep well tonight. Graham, 2 laps to go. If McFadden is going to do it, he has to do it now.
Yeah, I'm sure Adam will be defending his line very strongly this last lap or two to go to the finish, because leave it open, I'm sure McFadden will definitely find a way through.
Nothing between them at all.
I'm surprised he's still sitting there. I guess he must be waiting for a last lap move, but I'm sure he won't be doing anything silly with the championship in mind. Neil's really good at thinking about what could happen in the future, so I think he'll probably be wanting the championship more than a round win. Here
are 2 kids that one day you're going to be hearing a lot about in national motor racing. Look at the talent on display, bound for a career beyond karting. And what a job they've done to entertain the crowd and our television viewers in this race. The final of Pataras Press Formula A. Your leader is Graham, looking for McFadden now. He draws beside him. McFadden has taken the lead in kart number 59, and there's about a lap remaining in this event as we take another look at it.
It looks like he was going to do that for a few laps. He was lining him up, and he's pulled it off on the last lap, which is, I'm sure it's heartbreaking for Adam Graham to see that happen.
Unbelievable. McFadden, new race leader in 59. Can Adam Graham come back at him? I guess he's going to remember the kind of move that McFadden put on him. He's going to do one of his own. It's Graham up on the inside now. McFadden lucky to keep it on the black stuff. And Graham has taken the checkered flag in the most sensational karting race I have ever seen. What about this?
That was an unbelievable move. It's not often you see something like that happen. It looks like he really meant to get that win.
Great stuff from the karters here this afternoon at the Eastern Creek International Karting Raceway. That will be a race that lives long in the memory of both drivers. Man that's taken the victory, Adam Graham in the Tony Kart. Second, Neil McFadden, then Joshua Pontello, Wesley May, Mark Winterbottom, Bradley Brown, Matthew Wall, Clinton Dive, Clint Cathcart, Michael Caruso finishing 10th in the end, William Yarwood, Brendan Dive, Richard McLeod and Chris Cox. And here's our winner, Adam Graham.
Third round of the APS Racing Series for season 2000, Pataras Press Formula A, and there's a face that we recognise. It's the reigning junior inter-champion. What are you doing here, and what are you doing on the top step of Formula A? You've had a fairly difficult year to date, but this is a pretty good way to settle a score.
Yeah, it's been a really good weekend this weekend. Yeah, the kart was fairly good through the race, and it was pretty hard to keep in front, but we eventually got through.
What did you think when McFadden got past you?
I wasn't really sure of what I was sort of thinking. I was just trying to see of a way to get back past him before the finish line.
Well, you had a couple of corners left and really only one option being that last corner. What were your thoughts as you threw it down the inside then?
Well, I've been fairly fast through there all weekend, and there was a lot of rubber there. The only sort of way that I wasn't going to get through was the two wheels, so I didn't do that, so it pulled off, luckily.
It's the 2000 APS Racing Series, and a man who normally competes in RISA sponsors the series last year, 1999. For 2000, he's the Pataras Press Formula A sponsor. This year, you've really stepped up to the plate, Steve Pataras, and today you introduced a new team.
Yeah, today I introduced Team BRM, which is the Dream Kart chassis in Italy. We debuted this weekend. We started off really well, and we've got a bit of learning to do with the chassis. So we're going to take that on board and send the information back to Italy and get back the information that we do need to get up there.
Hope you've enjoyed our coverage in the third round of the APS Kart Racing Series from Sydney's Eastern Creek International Karting Raceway. That takes us out from this week's episode of Checkered Flag, and look forward to your company in the same time slot next week. On behalf of my co-commentator Alan Gurr and the entire production team, thanks very much for joining us this week, and we'll see you next week on Checkered Flag.
This has been a C7 Sport production.